What's happening now after several years that we met in Barcelona?
Yeah.
Now probably could be the real year. What do you think?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, what we've seen now over the years is a lot of good work has been done in getting the standards done for NFC services. Standards have been done, and now equipment is being manufactured that is compliant with the standards.
Yeah.
We're seeing handsets becoming commercially available. Also, in many markets now, we're seeing business models being actually signed.
Yeah.
And the first commercial rollouts are now beginning to happen. And last year in France, for example, in the town of Nice, the mobile network operators in France realized that the best way to do this is to collaborate.
Yeah.
And so by collaborating, they're offering NFC services to all the consumers in Nice. Now that's been very successful, and they now plan to roll out in 9 more cities across France this year.
Yeah.
So France is taking off. We're also seeing other markets where joint ventures have been formed. For example, in the Netherlands, they've established a body called the Six Pack,
Yeah.
which is 3 mobile network operators and 3 banks working together to roll out NFC services nationwide in the Netherlands by next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And similarly, we're seeing a JV in the USA, Project ISIS, that's also got ambitions to roll out NFC services across the USA. So there's a lot of momentum is building, and it's not just those markets, but also we're seeing other movements. For example, around Europe, there are markets in Europe that are aggressively getting ready to roll out, and we'll hear some good news pretty soon for further launches. So it's now really is the year for NFC. It's finally arrived, and it's great to see that it's actually taking off now.
What do you think in Europe it could be the best country that will start for first? We know that France already started, but some other country do you think could join on the same level of France or not in Europe?
Well, the French are in the lead because they've always been pioneers and always taking on new innovative services. But there are other markets in Europe that are already moving to get going. For example, Poland, Spain, UK, Czech Republic, Turkey. They're all getting really moving on deploying NFC services. So it'd be good to see it spread worldwide. In outside of Europe, there are other countries that have had NFC pilots done. For example, in Korea, they've had commercial services in Japan for a while now, and so there's now interoperability is being readied to test interoperabilities, for example, between Korea and Japan. So international interoperability is being tested. So I think it's spreading around the world, and many countries who previously have been watching, when they see other countries actually commercially deploying, they will say, yeah, we can do that. So I think it will take off like that.
Yeah, and also probably international level, probably the Far East is the best place that we start, or also South America.
Well, in Asia, in Korea, Japan, they've had these kind of technologies for a while now.
That it was Felica, but
Felica, But now, at Mobile World Congress, we saw the announcement from the likes of NTT Docomo, where they said they are embracing the NFC standard as well, and so that promotes interoperability outside of Japan, and it will allow, for example, travelers outside of Japan to enjoy NFC services, and then when they come back to Japan, they can enjoy the Felica services. So interoperability is now increasing. But all markets are beginning to move now and grow, and the developing markets, for example, like in South America, some of those markets are now looking at maybe doing pilots of NFC services. So I can see everyone catching up, in time.
So you represent the GSMA now, and at the international level. What do you think could be or has to be the operator role in this chain, in the ecosystem?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, collaboration is very important, and it's all about the mobile network operators joining hands with the service providers to deliver the services to the consumer. The consumer is king, and so, for example, MNOs will need to collaborate with the banks to deliver payment services to the consumer. MNOs will need to collaborate with transportation operators to deliver transportation services to the consumer. So it's all about collaborating. It's not for one person, one entity to take the whole pie. It's all about sharing and working together to deliver a better and more convenient lifestyle to the consumer.
And looking at your home country, UK,
Yes.
what's happening in Transport of London? Do you think they continue the experimentation with the new phone, with the new other operators, or they will stop? Was just a joke? What do you think?
No. There's been press releases from Transport for London. They are very, very active in contactless services, and they've always been pioneers. You know, it's the contactless service on the Transport for London network, Oyster, is actually. Is very popular. The usage, I think it's something like 85%.
I am on it also.
So it's very, very popular because it's easy and convenient to use. So I don't think it's a passing thing. I think it's there permanently, and they're doing a lot of good work getting ready for the Olympics in London next year. So there's a lot of good movement in contactless technology in the UK, and it's not just Transport for London, but other retailers in the UK are also, doing preparing contactless points of acceptance in their stores.
Do you think there will be more handset in the future, respect of the handset that we have now on the market?
Yeah, absolutely. All of the leading handset manufacturers do have NFC firmly in their roadmaps. So some of the first handsets are already commercially available, and we know more are coming this year. We've already seen, announcements from the likes of Nokia, Samsung, Research in Motion. They're all,
BlackBerry,
BlackBerry, So I think all of the leading handset manufacturers are already behind NFC and will be rolling out NFC handsets in the near future. Some are already available, and many more are set to come this year and beyond.
Okay, thank you, Nav, and I hope to see you again in
welcome.
Barcelona or probably in London sooner. Thank you, Nav.
Thanks for your time.
Bye.